Israel. There, they have lived for more than 50 years, and during that time, since 1968, the African Hebrew Israelites of Jerusalem have lived in the state of Israel. Guided by their leader, the late Ben-Ami ben Israel, the group left the United States and, after a brief period in Liberia, settled in Dimona, a city in southern Israel. There, they have lived for more than 50 years, and during that time, the group has battled the state for respect, for recognition, for work visas, and even citizenship. Over time, after intense struggle, the Hebrew Israelites of Jerusalem, the African Hebrew Israelites of Jerusalem, have improved their relationship with the state, and in 2003, the government finally granted them legal citizenship, or some got permanent or temporary residency. Everyone there who was living there got that. Like other Israeli citizens and other American settlers, which they are, the group's children serve in the Israeli military, and the group is now generally celebrated as valuable members of Israeli society rather than the strange vegan cult from Chicago that they were labeled when they first arrived in the 1960s. So the problem is solved, or so they thought. It turns out that not everybody living there was included in the 2003 decision. Instead, some have been living in Israel without any legal status for decades, and although they have applied for residency in order to fix the problem, those requests have now been formally denied. Last week, 46 families received deportation notices from Israel's Population and Immigration Authority. Now, according to the deportation order, all of them must leave the country within 60 days. This includes people who have lived there for decades, and it also includes children who have never lived anywhere else. So why this decision? And why now? And what can be done about it? Well, to answer that question...
All right, Shalom. This is Harawan Banyasha Allah of the Lions Den Camp. I want to say Kal Halayim, La Yahweh, Ba'Hashem Yahawashi, Ba'Hashem Harakar Kodash, Mama. Double honor to the elder apostles of GMS and the elders. Shalom to you, Akim, and Agwatim and children that believe in sincerity and truth around the four corners of the earth. Yeah, man, they've been talking about it for a few weeks now. The Dimona Israelites, they're getting kicked out of Jerusalem, out of Israel, or wherever they're at, in Israel. Now, 1960s, 1970s, there was a guy named Ben-Ami from Chicago, and around the same time, Abba Bivens, Apostle Tahar, Yaquab, Elder Yaquab, right, King Masha, so on and so on, they were all teaching. That's around the same time this guy decided to take a congregation of people over to Israel and settle there illegally. Right? Because it's important to say illegally. Why? Right? Why? Because the Lord said we were going to be kicked out of that land. That land don't belong to us right now, period. It's not ours, man. The Lord's not giving it to us. All right? As a matter of fact, I'm going to get that first. All right? Zechariah 9:6. And a bastard shall dwell in Ashdod, and I will cut off the pride of the Philistines. All right? Now, today, the Philistines are those, what you would call Syrians, or those Persian or Elamite nations. All right, what they call Philistines today, or Palestine, but originally called Philistine. So the Lord said, "Gonna cut off that area as well." Back in the day, the Philistines were the tall ass Africans, but it's about land geographics today. And right now, today, also it says, "A bastard shall dwell in Ashdod." Now, what's a bastard? This is it says a mamzer. Okay, now I know what that word means. That's funny. A mamzer, all right. A mongrel, right, born of a Jewish father and a heathen mother. A bastard, a child of incest, a illegitimate child, a bastard, a mixed population. All right, so basically saying this bastard would be who? Esau. All right, because the focus there wouldn't be the bloodline, it would be where he was born from, with Isaac and Rebecca. But the focus would be him being a heathen a heathen. All right. Um, if he's not of the promised seed, which the promised seed was Jacob. Other than that, they're heathens today. All right. So I don't care who they came from. They're heathens. If they're not of Abraham, Isaac, and then ultimately Jacob. So now it says there's Revelation 2:9. So those are heathens. Those are bastards that's living in that land today. Those fake Jews, the ones they call Israelis, right? Netanyahu. And they go by the Babylonian Talmud. That's what they read, and they wear them big black Saturn hats, Satan hats, planetary worship, and they bang their head at the wall. When you see them bowing and banging their head on the wall, well, that wall was built by Herod. All right, King Herod, to pay homage to Augustus Caesar at the time, I think it was, or was it to Julius Caesar? But he built that wall, um, paying homage to the Roman Empire. But they bowing at it, talking about it's something spiritual. And what they call the temple today, the Temple Mount, is not truly the temple. It's called the Tower of Antonia. It was a brigade that was set up against the true town of Israel. All right, it's the city of David, and against Jerusalem, over located where the pools of Siloam are. But anyway, so that's ultimately not the temple today. All right, the second temple was destroyed, 70 A.D. It burned down to the ground again. So you got two layers. You know, the first one that was burned down 586, another one on top of that. They built on top of it, 70 A.D. And today it's a place of excavations. You know, and digging. And scriptures say that. So those ones in the land today, they're the fake Jews, Edomites, Khazars that moved into that land. All right, and they were that. This is Revelations 2:9. I know thy works and tribulation. So the Lord says He knows our works. So our work is supposed to be what? Teaching His truth, teaching about Yahweh and His Son Yahweh Shai and about the prophecies. And the Lord said, wherever we're at, He'll protect us. His elect. He don't need you to leave. He didn't need us to leave Egypt the night of the Passover, and you know, um, or when he killed all their children, He didn't need us to leave. All right, He destroyed all their children, their firstborn or whatever, and He protected the house of the Israelites wherever they were. They had the blood upon their door. Now that blood is upon us, so we don't have to leave. The Lord said this, man. Let me get this real quick. This is Zephaniah 3:8. Therefore, wait ye upon me. See, we're supposed to wait on the Lord. We're not supposed to have this whole flee doctrine. So imagine if Yahweh Shai showed up and we all left America. Then there would be nobody to deliver from Babylon. Just wouldn't make sense. We all over in that land trying to get the land back. No, we need to be scattered just like we are, trying to get back to Yahweh. And that's spiritual. He's a spirit. All right. You don't need to travel anywhere on the earth to be recognized by Yahweh Bashem Shai. He got elect in the heavens right now with him. You know, so us moving over to that land, you're still gonna run into Edomites. I don't want to be there, seeing all those historical sites, going back in the history, and then seeing Esau there with their rules and forcing you to wear a yarmulke, going by their laws and their orders. You know, the Lord set it up to where we're in Babylon, France, Germany, Hawaii, Russia, Africa. We all over the damn world. That's how the Lord wanted. We're a scattered people. But this dude Ben Amin, he thought he was doing something by taking everybody over there. You know, this flea doctrine, when he could have just set up shop right here in America, kept doing the work, and had his congregation follow. you know. But trying to go out there and take Esau's blessing, we don't have no part in Esau's blessing. Right? Scriptures say he was going to gain the fatness of the earth through the sword, and they've done that. 1948, and through deception, they set up the Israelis, the fake Jews, as a sovereign uh, country. So that was set up by who? Esau. See, all these people trying to set up their own shit, man. Yahushua going to be the one that establishes the children of Israel, that that put us back in that land. He's going to do it. And we ain't going to need no paperwork from Esau or none of that. Zephaniah 3:8. Therefore wait ye upon me, saith the Lord Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushua, until the day that I rise up to the prey. See, that we're supposed to wait for him until he rises up against them. All right? Wherever we're at, we're supposed to wait. You know, if you travel, you travel. You travel over there to Israel, you want to see it, whatever, it's cool. But you're an Israelite. We don't need the land until we're made righteous. You're an Israelite indeed, you know, in the spirit. That's what makes the land what it is, the people. All right. So until the day that I rise up to the prey, for my determination is to gather the nations. So the Lord gonna do the gathering, that I may assemble the kingdoms to pour upon them mine indignation, even all my fierce anger. For all the earth shall be devoured with the fire of my jealousy. So the whole earth, right? That's why the Lord says it's gonna be a judgment come on the whole world, whole earth, because that's where we're scattered at, around the four corners of the earth. Revelations 2:9. Well, I'm gonna start from 3:9. All right. Behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan, which say they are Jews and are not, but do lie. See that? The ones that are over there in that land today, they're really the synagogue of the adversary, the Satan. All right. They're a synagogue, the gathering of Satan, our adversaries. So the Lord has what? I will make them of the synagogue of Satan, which say they are Jews and are not, but do lie. Behold, I will make them to come and worship before thy feet, and to know that I have loved thee. All right, Matthew 24:30. And then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven, and then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn, right? Wherever we're scattered at. And over there, it just shows, man, the doctrine that they're pushing. That's what they call Yehuda, Ben. Anybody with that name in their title, you know that they're going off, because they haven't advanced in the Hebrew yet. They're not even calling on the correct name. And they're in the land where the Hebrew is written on walls and over the pools of Siloam, Hezekiah's tunnel, and all these different writings. But they over there calling the Lord Yehuda. And they following the Ben Yehudi. All right. So the Lord, like, yeah, get them out of that damn land. You know, they going over there and they had to join the army. As soon as they get there, I was like, yo, I'm out. I'm gonna go back to Babylon, serve my time. Matthew 24:30. And then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven. And then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in the cloud of heaven with power and great glory. All right, so we're going to see the angels, we're going to see the chariots, and we're going to see Yahushua, I mean. He's not going to project his face. I still ain't letting up on that. He's not going to project his face all over the place. No. You know, I don't see anybody teaching that shit no more. Try to slip that in there. But anyway, what's going to happen is Yahushua going to show up with the angels and with Yahushua himself, the chariots, and we're going to see that. And he shall send his angels with a great sound of a trumpet. So he's going to send his angels out. All right. Not an airplane, not a cruise boat to take you over to the land. Only only a small handful, a couple hundred, 60 or 40. No, it's gonna be 144,000 and the 1/3. That's gonna be a lot of people. And they shall gather together his elect from the four winds, from one end of heaven to the other. All right, so no matter where we're at, the Lord gonna gather his elect from the four winds, from the four ends of the earth, north, east, west, and south. People we don't even know that's in the Arctic and out in the wilderness, in the Amazon. All right, but we're not supposed to be in that land, going over there trying to seek freedom, seek some type of peace. All right. See, they misunderstood these scriptures. That's like what's his name? That the leader of GOCC, Rakah, dude that be sounding like Eddie Murphy when he's singing. He I remember a while back he was telling people that he was safe and he got delivered. He did a video. He was like, "We're safe. The chariot that's come and got us. We're somewhere safe right now. I can't tell you where we are, but we're in Israel." And people started traveling over there to get to him and sending him money to come where he was at. He had his black ass right here in America, riding around the damn Lamborghini off the money that they were sending. And people still follow this dude as they deserve, right? But check this out. The Lord said this, Jeremiah 51:6. Flee out of the midst of Babylon and deliver every man his soul. So that's the point. It's about delivering our soul. All right. So how do you flee Babylon? You flee. I'm gonna get that too. Be not cut off in her iniquity, for this is the time of Yahweh's vengeance. He will render vengeance upon her a recompense. He will render upon her a recompense. So that judgment is coming to this place. And it says, Babylon have been a golden cup in the Lord's hand that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine, therefore the nations are mad. All right, so the Lord is controlling Babylon. He's using Babylon, all right, against the world and also against his people until the Lord destroys this place. That's it. It's just that simple, man. You don't have to go over here. Now you in Israel. I'm an Israelite. See, I'm in the land. Let's have wives and let's live uh, abundantly. All right. Let's live peaceable with vegetarians and all this bullshit, man. All right. So how do we flee Babylon? Um, that's why the scripture said a minute ago. What I read: Wait ye upon the Lord, for His determination. This is what He's planning to gather all the nations together for war and world war. So the first place they're gonna get hit is the land of Israel. That's probably why the Lord trying to get them out of there too. So you people thought they can join the army, and now it's like we've resident. Nah, nope. Behind enemy lines, man. Psalms 124. Our soul is escaped as a bird out of the snare of the fowlers. All right. So our soul, that's what the point is. Our soul being escaped, being delivered. As a bird, the bird being the speckled bird, Israel, scattered, mingled, looking like the other nations, taking on the customs of the other nations, but being called back to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. That's the bird. All right. Um, our soul is escaped as a bird out of the snare. The snare represents the trap that Esau has set. The new world order. That's what them heathens are coming down with great wrath, canceling all deals, saying, "Hey, we know we recognize y'all as citizens, but y'all gotta get the fuck out of here." All right. Um, our soul is escaped as a bird out of the snare of the fowler. The fowler represents a person that sets traps for birds. All right, for fowl, and that's what Esau is, man. He set traps upon the earth. A hunter. So for us to be delivered to the word salvation means to be saved or taken out of the way of a person's trap or danger that they bring in. That's to be saved. You can look it up. All right, salvation. But he said what? To be delivered out, as our soul is escaped as a bird out of the snare of the fowler, man. The snare is broken. So Esau's going to be broken. I don't want to be in that land and the heathen still there. We're dealing with enough over here already in America. All right. You got signs over there talking about some make Israel get great again, Trump. Listen, man. Our soul is escaped as a bird out of the snare of the fowlers. These nations, especially Esau. The snare is broken. That's the point. We want the snare to be broken. The trap. All right. Their power, their might to be broken. And we are escaped. So that's how we escape, man. That once the snare is broken. And the scriptures say, no weapon formed against thee shall prosper. Not even deception. All right. So at that point, that's when we're escaped. Verse 8, our help is in the name of Yahweh, who made heaven and earth, man. That's very important, because that's why he said he's going to bring his judgment around the four corners of the earth. All right, that's the God we serve, like on the Matrix, where Morpheus told Neo, said, hey, he was like, no, Neo told Morpheus, he said, so you mean I'll be able to dodge bullets? Morpheus was like, yo, I'm telling you, once you realize it, you won't have to. You won't even have to dodge them. See, they ran over there to Demona trying to dodge the bullet. All right, the judgment. Esau coming down with great wrath and all that. You know, the hell that's getting put on us. They try to go over there and dodge that when they ran right into more. All right, but the Lord is saying we don't have to run. All we got to do is wait ye upon Him. All right, in the fire, just like Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. All right, they were in there with who? They were put into the fire with Nebuchadnezzar, and Yahushua came into the fire with them and put a cold, cool mist over them so that they wouldn't feel the fire. All right, to take away some of that burden, that hell, that affliction. All right, now this is a scripture about the elect. All right, you have the elect that are in heaven with that are with Yahweh Bashim Yahushua in the heavens and spirit world, and you're gonna have the elect that are upon earth. All right, the scriptures say we shall not all sleep, but we shall all be changed at that moment and twinkling of an eye. Verse 18. Now understand I the things that are laid up in the latter days, right? He said, my determination is to gather the nations, to pour upon them his indignation. All right. Which shall happen upon them and to those that are left behind. Therefore are they come into great perils and many necessities, like as these dreams declare, right? We're coming into many perils and troubles. Can't run from it. You know, when Yahushua went through his suffering and they went to punch him in the face or smite him on the cheek or rip out his beard, he stuck his face out into it and didn't want any type of numbing agents to numb his pain. All right, that's why I tried to give him gall to drink or whatever, and he rejected it twice. So what mindset are we in if we're not willing to take the affliction and the adversity and see this thing all the way to the end? Like Paul said, I have finished the race. I have finished my course. We got to finish the course. It's not about us. It's not about our emotions. It's not about our situations. It's not about none of that. It's about why we were sent here, to do his will in the matrix. All right. 2 Ezra 13:20. Yet it is easier for him that is in danger to come into these things than to pass away as a cloud out of the world, and not to see the things that happen in the last days. And he answered unto me and said, so basically saying it's better to be here and see all the destruction, all right, and see the salvation, and not be in the spirit world. You know, it's better to be here and see it. Um, you know, and it's better to wait ye upon the Lord, especially here in Babylon. Like verse 23, well 22. Whereas thou hast spoken of them that are left behind, this is the interpretation. He that shall endure the peril in that time have kept himself. They that be fallen into danger are such as have works and faith toward the Almighty. Know this, therefore, that they which be left behind are more blessed than they that are dead. All right. So to be here to see the salvation, doing the work, teaching, that's a blessing, man. Not running over there to another land or seeking suicide or that kamikaze mindset. I'm gonna go out with a bang. It's better to see this thing all the way through, um, and do the Lord's will, man. Go into the danger. Present that body as a living sacrifice. Not present that body as cargo and transport me over to Israel and leave me there at the like them gospel people say, leave me there. All right. All right. So they went over there seeking um protest or seeking justice or rights from Esau, man. We're not gonna get it. That's just like people protesting over here and fighting for land and all that. Or fighting for sovereignty, saying we Israelites. You ain't gonna get it. They got all kind of traps and systems set in place. You say you're an Israelite, all right, prove it. The only way we can prove it is by our works, man. You can't prove it a nationality. You can't pull out no paperwork uh, saying that you're an Israelite. Or you say, yeah, I'm an Israelite. I'm sovereign now. I'm not keeping a license or ID. Um, so, but there's ways you have to do it. You have to own your birth certificate. You have to take ownership. You have to go through all kind of paperwork, which I have some of the paperwork. Um, you have to go through the paperwork and basically cancel out your license, cancel out your ID, and then they'll say, okay, now you're not sovereign, but you own your sovereignty. You own it, but the courts can still gain jurisdiction over that person, even though they don't have a American title anymore or a birth certificate. That's what ties us to this place, the birth certificate. Those are the slave contracts from birth. All right. But once they have that, you're still not free. You're still on this land. You're still in that land. Wherever you're at, you're gonna run to an Edomite that's in power. Especially I'll say this: wherever you're at, you're gonna run into a heathen that's in power. China, Russia, wherever, Africa. So the best thing to do is to do the Lord's work. All right. So you can say you're sovereign all you want. You can go over there and say you're sovereign, but you're still gonna have to go and see Esau. Scriptures say that, man. We're gonna go to them. Get that. All right, because it was a curse that was put on our people, and they basically trying to run from that curse, man. Got to take the judgment. This is Deuteronomy 28:47. Because thou servest not the Lord thy power with joyfulness and with gladness of heart for the abundance of all things, therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies. This is a command, a curse that was put upon our people, which Yahweh shall send against thee. So the Lord sent the sword against us, Esau. And we pray to the Lord to deliver us from the wicked, which is thy sword, right? From men's hands. It says, so the Lord's going to send Esau against us, and we're going to serve our enemies in hunger, all right, and in thirst, and in nakedness, and in want of all things. And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee. And they did that with slavery. And even today, the scriptures say that they would, all right, Ecclesiasticus 12:10. Never trust thine enemies. See, they trusted them. They said, hey man, we're gonna give y'all your sovereignty or citizenship, but you got to put your males in the Israeli army, and we're gonna recognize y'all not as a vegan cult, but as African Hebrew Israelite. They keep saying that African Hebrew Israelites. You see that they won't let it up. They won't stop calling them Africans. They still don't recognize them. So now all of them about to get deported. Something may change, but I think they're gonna do it. They're gonna make migrants out of them, and a lot of them gonna get deported, old and young. Sirach 12:10. It says, "Never trust thine enemy." Our enemy is Esau. That I was just reading about in Deuteronomy 28. Scripture said we were gonna be sold into our enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, slaves. So now we're still under the curses, man, and the birth certificates are still in place. You know, you can't operate in the society without one or a social. All right. Did that mean you should go get the chip? No. You gotta be careful with Jake, man. They be like, oh, so that mean I get the chip, right? Verse 10, never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. So what they did during slavery, that Edomite, demonic, hateful spirit towards Jacob is still in place. They hate us because we have a God, the true God, and he loves us. They hate us for that, man. They hate us because of our blessing. All right. They know that Jake is the lost sheep, lost tribes of Israel. So they want to, get lost. Do what you do. You know, pelican fly. That's what you're supposed to do, right? You're supposed to get lost. You're the lost sheep. Verse 10. So he said, never trust them, man. Yeah, we give y'all citizenship in 2003 or whatever. But now in 2021, they like, get the hell out of here. Young and old, it don't matter. Find somewhere to go. Whew, man. And you know they're going to force them to get vaccine, wherever they send them at. It's about to be tough times for everybody, really. Verse 11, though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him, right? So he go crouching, man, just like a damn snake. And thou shalt be unto him as if thou hast wiped a looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust have not been altogether wiped away. Be able to see him clearly, man. And that's what we're seeing, that they're the devil, they're the adversary. By their actions, we're seeing that. That's why the Lord said he's going to make them into the synagogue of Satan. He's going to make them the adversaries, man. Creating them just like he's creating us, by their actions. All right. It says, verse 12, set him not by thee, lest when he have overthrown thee, he stand up in thy place. That's what they've done. They standing up in our place, calling themselves the Jews, the Israelites, the Israelis, when they're imposters, man. All right. Set him not by thee, lest when he have overthrown thee, he stand up in thy place. And That was a cut on people like King Jehoshaphat in the 9th century, where he set up a deal with Edom, Esau, and then in 586, right, 400 years later, approximately, you get Esau coming up into Jerusalem and burning down our temple with Nebuchadnezzar, the Babylonians, breaking their peace agreement with us. That's all they do. They set up agreements just to gain some type of foothold. Then they break their agreements. All right, so it's nothing new under the sun, man. The Lord warned us. He said, "Neither let him sit at thy right hand, lest he seek to take thy seat. And thou at the last remember my words and be pricked therewith," man. So that's what they're gonna feel. They're gonna be pricked therewith, man. Following that guy, uh, Ben Ami over there, and now he's gone in the spirit world, but all of them are left over there. All right. And why pity them? Watch this. Who will pity a charmer that is bitten with a serpent, or any such as come nigh wild beasts? All right. So people that they ran over to their land seeking refuge and citizenship from the snakes, from a serpent. That's why we don't pity them, man. It's like, damn, man, we going through hell over here already, and y'all running over there, and got bunches of wives and flaunting it, saying, yeah, y'all over there in Babylon, it stinks over there, talking all this shit. Come home. Where's peace and music and love and F all that. I want that. I can just go to damn uh, Jake Cinco de Mayo or some shit. Ain't they having that right now? Or go to one of the Jake festivals here in America. In Jacksonville, they have World of Nations. I want to see a fake Jew, I can go right up the street to the damn synagogues. You know, land geographics. It's like, come on, man. Trying to give people their piece of heaven. The Lord said, just do the work, man. That's what the unicorn is set up for, the internet, to be able to teach on it. And his word goes around the four corners of the earth and gathers. All right, so all we got to do is just do the work. Isaiah 34:16. Seek ye out of the book of Yahweh and read. No one of these shall fail, right? Not no Ben Yehudi, not no Babylonian Talmud, none of that. Not no Quran. He said, seek ye out of the book of the Lord and read. That's the Bible. All right, the Tanakh, the Torah, and the Apocrypha. No one of these shall fail. None shall want her mate. For my mouth it hath commanded, and his spirit it hath gathered them. So what's going to gather us? His spirit. So we don't have to be in the same room or in the same city. We're joined together in the spirit. All right. You see that? Jerusalem all over the earth. Yerushalayim, the city of peace, the citizens of peace with Yahweh. Scattered around the four corners of the earth. So his spirit is gathering us. All right. I'm gonna read this one, even though I read 3 and 9 already. Revelation 2 and 9. I know thy works and tribulation and poverty. So the Lord knows all our suffering. All right. But thou art rich, and I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan. All right. Revelation 11 and 9. And they of the people and kindreds and tongues and nations shall see their dead bodies 3 days and a half, and shall not suffer their dead bodies to be put in graves, man. So that's us being here in Babylon 350 years, all up into the 60s, to where Abba Bivin started teaching here in America. And that's all we need to do is just keep teaching wherever you're at. Even if you are in Israel, they should be out in the streets teaching the name of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, rebuking these devils. All right. But what happens? You have people like I think it's House of Israel, House of one of them camps, House of David. when they went over there to Israel and to visit those brothers and sisters in Dimona, they had to wear yarmulkes, and they wore them. I was like, no, I ain't wearing a damn yarmulke. I like wearing keepers, kufis, you know. They call them keepers, but I wouldn't wear it because they told me to. No, I ain't wearing that. You know, I just won't go over there. But shit, look at now, they got everybody wearing masks. But Revelation 11 and 9. So they didn't suffer us to be what put to rest, to be comforted. All right, to be put in graves. That's to put somebody to rest. Instead, we're walking upon our feet, spiritually dead, man, suffering, sick. You know, zombies. All right, and Esau wasn't. They hid the truth from us. So Yahushua um, gave us rest. All right. This is the rest where I cause the weary to rest, man. And they that dwell upon the earth shall rejoice over them. All right. So, because if somebody's spiritually dead or physically dead and they walking around, they suffering in the dead flesh and the dead mind. Did not put to rest, man. That's a torment. And they that dwell upon the earth shall rejoice over them and make merry and shall send gifts one to another, because these two prophets tormented them that dwelt upon the earth. It's talking about the northern tribe and the southern kingdom of Israelites. They're not African Israelites from Scipio Africanus, but they are Israelites, all right, Hebrew speaking Israelites. um, and they sent gifts one to another in slavery when we were in slavery, and they sent slaves one to another. Verse 11. And after 3 days and a half, the Spirit of Yahweh entered into them, and they stood upon their feet, and great fear fell upon them which saw them. Why? Because they're like, yo, who these dudes out here with Bibles instead of guns or instead of bats or knives, seeking to destroy themselves and others. But now they have Bibles, so they're seeking life for themselves and others of Israel. So these heathens, they're like roaches. When they see the light, they scatter, and they don't like it. All right. So and they heard a great voice from heaven saying unto them, come up hither. And they ascended up to heaven in a cloud, and their enemies beheld them. So that's gonna happen all over the earth, man. All right, not everybody gotta go to Dimona, you know, helping sustain them over there, send them money. No, man. Nope. We all suffering out here. And we're not running from the fire. If anything, we're running into it. Okay. That's like when the Lord told Jeremiah, and Daniel and even Ezekiel to go into Babylon. And the ones that trust him, matter of fact, I'm gonna get that. Now this is ultimately talking about the order in the camps. That the Lord set up the order, but also the powers that be represent the governments. All right, that's why the Lord said, "Render unto Caesar what is Caesar's. Obey the laws of the land." You know, but we're not gonna take the chip and nothing like that. But obey the laws of the land, man. All right, use our laws in this place as well. Don't steal. Excuse me. Don't murder. Don't have sex with a woman on their period. Don't whatever. Esau have their laws. They get real tedious with it, just like the Pharisees were doing. Um, but Romans 13:1. Let every soul be subject unto the higher powers, for there is no power but of Yahweh. The powers that be are ordained of God, man. So those fake Jews over there, they're giving that land because Yahweh gave it to them. He said, a bastard shall dwell in that land. All right. That land was not only destroyed and desolate and dead, but he also sent cankerworms and bottom feeders to feed on that land. All right, the fake Jews and those heathens and Palestinians. All right, so it's like um, maggots feeding on a dead host. All right, verse 2: Whosoever therefore resisteth the power, resisteth the ordinance of Yahweh, and they that resist shall receive to themselves damnation. All right, so now that's ultimately talking about the setup of these camps. The ones that resist or get prideful, they get a little bit of knowledge and they buck up against the head of the camps. Well, the Lord said you're going to receive of yourself damnation. All right, Jeremiah 38:16. But now, using it in the sense of the topic we're on, the government, those Israelis, they wouldn't exist if the Most High hadn't set them up, because we were wicked. Okay, so to go back in that land, that would do nothing for us, man. We need to return back, meaning repent. Have a change of view. If you're looking down your own path and you change your view, you turn around to the Father and you walk back to Him, run back to Him. Jeremiah 38:16. But what did the Lord tell Jeremiah and King Zedekiah? All right, Zedekiah was the king of Judah that was put in place. All right, instead of Zerubbabel, the blessing went on Zerubbabel, but the kingship went to uh, Zedekiah. All right, whom I think he was like an uncle of Zerubbabel. And Zerubbabel, whom Yahushua, his bloodline came through with Joseph and Mary, both of them, through with King David. That bloodline, um, but I mean, it's like that's who Yahushua was born through. And that's why when he was born, he wasn't known as a king of Israel. He was known as a commoner, just like Zerubbabel. All right. He was from the kingly line, but the Lord took the kingship from Jehoiakim. I think it was Jehoiakim, if I can remember correctly. So Zedekiah was being wicked. All right. And the Lord used Nebuchadnezzar, the Assyrian, to go up in there and cut Zedekiah's eyes out. And he did the same thing to his children, because Zedekiah wouldn't listen to the prophet that was sent to him. Just like the people that don't listen to us today, the Lord gonna have this happen to them. All right. Abba Bivens to um, Elder Yaquab to King Mashad, Apostle Tahar, on down, man. That's all I recognize. Jeremiah 38:16. So Zedekiah the king swear secretly unto Jeremiah, saying, as Yahweh liveth, that made us this soul, I will not put thee to death, neither will I give thee in the hand of these men that seek thy life. Then said Jeremiah unto Zedekiah, thus saith Yahweh, the power of Israel, the God of Israel, if thou wilt assuredly go forth unto the king of Babylon's princes, then thy soul shall live, and this city shall not be burned with fire, and thou shalt live and thine house. All right, so the Lord told us to go into Babylon today, even today. Stay where the hell you at, man. If you're over in France or Germany, you want to travel around to see people, that's cool. You want to travel just for whatever reason, that's cool. Or migrate. But to go over there with all of the camp right now, if I say I'm going to take this camp here at Lions Den, or Apostle Harvard say, if you're in GMS, follow me over to Israel, I'll meet you there. Shit wouldn't make sense, man. All right. It would take away from the fact that the Lord is coming to gather us, that He's coming to deliver us. You know, Ben Ami, he ain't gonna be able to sit there and say, I got them here. I did it. None of his children gonna be able to say that either. You know. Instead, they're gonna say he pulled them into a trap by not listening to the prophets of the Lord. When he said, go out to the highways and byways and teach. That's it. All right. So he said, if Zedekiah didn't listen and he didn't go with the Babylonians into Babylon to serve his punishment, then the Lord said, you're gonna cause that the rest of everybody else to be burned up. So that's what's happening. Their leaders causing them to err. They're going over there to the land of Israel, ultimately to get caught up in Armageddon. And putting themselves at the in the hands of Esau. They're falling into the hands of Esau, saying, "Hey, do with us as you will." Um, you know, they have no citizenship in any country. Verse 18. But if thou wilt not go forth to the king of Babylon's princes, then shall this city be given into the hand of the Chaldeans, and they shall burn it with fire, and thou shalt not escape out of their hand. So if Zedekiah would have listened to Jeremiah and went with the Babylonians, which was probably scary as hell to do. So you mean to go into the fire? That's what the Lord said, yeah, present your body as a living sacrifice. That's what he's telling us today, being in that spirit of Abraham and Isaac. When he was told to present Isaac as a sacrifice, but the Lord stopped him at the last second and said, hey, I have provided a sacrifice for you, and that's Yahushua. So at the last minute, the Lord's going to deliver the elect, scarcely be saved. All right? And that should help you understand the story of Isaac. But he definitely told Zedekiah, if thou wilt not go forth to the king of Babylon princes, right? Because the Lord is the one that set up the Assyrians or Babylonians in power, just like Esau today. Then shall this city be given into the hand of the Chaldeans, and they shall burn it with fire, and thou shalt not escape out of their hand. And Zedekiah the king said unto Jeremiah, I am afraid of the Jews that are fallen to the Chaldeans, lest they deliver me into their hand, and they mock me. So he's like, yo, I'm afraid if I go give myself over to these Babylonians or to my own people, they're going to hand me over to them. But if thou refuse to go, but Jeremiah said, they shall not deliver thee. Obey, obey, I beseech thee, the voice of Yahweh, which I speak unto thee. So it shall be well unto thee, and thy soul shall live. But if thou refuse to go forth, this is the word that Yahweh hath showed me. And behold, all the women that are left in the king of Judah's house shall be brought forth to the king of Babylon's princes. And those women shall say, thy friends have set thee on, and have prevailed against thee. Thy feet are sunk in the mire, and they are turned away back. So they shall bring out all thy wives and thy children to the Chaldeans, and thou shalt not escape out of their hand, but shall be taken by the hand of the king of Babylon, and thou shalt cause this city to be burned with fire. See, and Zedekiah didn't listen. So what happened was the Lord sent Nebuchadnezzar and his princes up in there to get Zedekiah, and ultimately cut out his eyes. And his same thing with his children. All right, because he didn't listen. But Jeremiah listened, and he was protected and delivered out of that destruction. And anybody that followed Jeremiah or Ezekiel, they were taken care of. All right, just like Daniel. All right, so that's what we represent, doing it the right way, asking for the Lord to protect us wherever we are, calling on his true name, Yahweh, his son name, Yahushua, not following some Jake from Chicago, from Chi-Town, following him over to Demona. Isaiah 9 and 16. For the leaders of this people caused them to err. And that's what they were doing. They've been led astray. Leading them over there to Demona. They've been led astray by that guy Ben Amin and his followers. So now they at the whim of Esau. Whatever Esau trying to do with them, they're gonna kick them out. Put them in concentration camp, something. But good thing I can say about that is it's gonna happen to everybody. They're gonna put hell on everybody. But it still stands that guy Ben Amin was teaching false doctrine, the flea doctrine. That really started with him. All right, the flea doctrine. Everybody flee Babylon. What the Lord meant by flee Babylon, he meant spiritually, to deliver thy soul from the trap that Esau's setting. And the only way we'll be delivered is by turning to Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushua, not calling ourselves Israelites and moving to that land. That ain't gonna do it. For the leaders of this people cause them to err, and they that are led of them are destroyed.